secular is Alexander the Great. Okay? And he took down the Persians and the Medes, the Medo-Persian Empire. When you go into the book of Daniel, it tells you that the Medo-Persian Empire would be ruling after the Babylonian Empire, and that the Greeks were going to take them down, and then the Romans were going to take them down. And the Romans were also Edomites, which also there's something to be said about that as well. So verse 2, it says, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander, and that's where you get the, when you go into Daniel and it talks about the four, I believe it's the four horns of the goat or the ram. It's actually talking about those four generals. And his servants bare rule every one in his place, and after his death they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. And there came out of them a wicked ruler, Antiochus surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Alright? And so when the Greeks came into power, what? Evils multiplied on the earth. Alright? This is Habakkuk. Habakkuk 1:6. It says, for lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. So they boast of themselves. See? Same thing Esau was doing back here. Right? What did it say? First Maccabees 1:9. After his death they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. So they proclaimed themselves king. They crowned themselves. They christened themselves. They anointed themselves. And that's what Esau has done. He's anointed himself. Alright? And the way that he's done it is by the power of the sword. Alright? That's how Esau has anointed himself. Which he's set up by the Most High. But he's not set up in righteousness though. He's set up in wickedness. Alright? Because why? Because the blessing didn't go to him. This is Genesis 27. Genesis 27:28, and this is concerning Israel. You can go to Genesis 27, read it yourself. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to start at 28. It says, therefore, so this is the blessing that Isaac is giving to Jacob right now. Okay. So listen to it very carefully. Genesis 27:28. Therefore, the Most High, Yahweh shall give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. So this is a blessing that was given to Jacob. So he said, let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Alright, so if Christianity is correct, and all nations can be saved, all nations are able to make it into the kingdom of heaven and be joint heirs with Yahushua, then who are the nations that are going to serve Israel? It don't make sense. It doesn't add up. All right? Unless you put it in perspective and you understand that Israelites are the only people that the Lord is really dealing with like that. The other nations, they have inheritance, okay? You know, they have different lands and things that they're going to get. But they're not the chosen people, right? They're not the chosen people. And that's who the Lord is dealing with, the chosen people, all right? And there's a chosen within the chosen, all right? Because not all of Israel is going to be joint heirs, you know. Well, they are heirs to the kingdom, but not all of Israel is going to get the first. How should I put it? Not all of Israel are the first fruits, man. All right, because you have majority of the nation of Israel that's actually going to be destroyed during this judgment that's coming. All right, for not repenting, for not, you know, putting their faith and hope in Yahweh, but instead, you know, because your hope is vain in America, because America is going to be destroyed. You know, if you decide to start learning Chinese, that ain't going to help you, because Moab's going to be taken out. You want to start learning Russia, that ain't going to help you. Russia, they're Edomites, man. All right. So, you know, there's no hope in any other thing. The only thing that you can hope in is Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you know, the Most High and His Son. And really, mainly His Son, because Yahweh Shai is who's dealing with us, man. The Most High ain't dealing with us. The Most High is too righteous, man. All right? Not saying that Yahweh Shai is not too righteous, but Yahweh Shai, you know, the Lord gave it to Yahweh Shai to be the judge of the, you know, quick and dead, man. Basically, man. So I'm going to keep reading. It says, let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren. And so who is Jacob? Who is Jacob's brother? Was Esau. And not only that, but when you go into it, all of us come from Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All the families of the earth come from Noah. And so it says, be Lord over thy brethren. And so basically, Jacob is the Lord of everybody on the earth. It says, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. So here's Esau. Here's the ruler of the world today. The people we were just reading about in the Maccabees, the Greeks, the Romans. All right, the people that came out during the Renaissance era, you know, was putting Israelites into slavery, man. Wreaking havoc on the world, man. Had 2 world wars already against themselves. All right, and that's all going into the scriptures too. Well, we'll get into that. And he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, who? Where is he that had taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all thou before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yeah, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard these words of his father, he cried with a great exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and had taken away thy blessing. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. Read that again. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord. What does that mean? How are you going to be joint heirs with Yahushua when he is the ultimate Jacobite, man? He's the ultimate Jake, man. And it says that Isaac made him Esau's Lord. So this image being pushed is totally backwards. It's off, man. Because Jake is supposed to, Yahushua is an Israelite, man. Alright? And so Israel is supposed to be ruling. Because Yahushua is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, man. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him, and what shall I do now unto thee, my son? So he's like, I gave your brother everything. I gave your brother the entire world and everything that's in it, even the people. What could I possibly give you? Is what he's telling Esau. What can I give you now? Alright, he says, and Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, for my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. Remember this blessing. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. So it says, the Lord gave Esau, he said his dwelling will be of the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven. What people can you name on earth right now that have an entire island dedicated to pedophilia, dedicated to their own pleasures, their own sick, weird fucking pleasures, man? What people on this earth have an entire island dedicated to themselves? Can you buy an island? Only somebody that is blessed by the Most High to have these riches, to have these things. Because an islands are beautiful places. You go to an island. Well, I went to Santa Cruz Thursday. I went to Santa Cruz Thursday, and even with the beach being trashed and the ocean looking like shit, it's still amazing to look at the ocean, man. It's still like, God damn. You see the waves coming in, and the waves retract. It's like a calming to watch that. Like, you can just watch that. You can literally just sit and watch the waves come in and go out, and come in and go out. And I thought about the scripture where it says that the Most High set the boundaries of the waters that it cannot pass. And so you looking at the ocean, you just like, damn, what? So anyways, you think about that. You look out into the ocean, right? You look out into the ocean and you see a vast ocean. You like, what's keeping the water from flooding over this beach, man? What's keeping the water from just flooding over this whole land? I mean, just look at it. It looks like it shouldn't stop here. And you can even see when you look at the waves on the beach, you can see the outline of where it stops and then retracts. Right? So you got to think, only by a creative design. In fact, there's parts of the ocean where you'll have different parts of the ocean that meet each other, and you can see that they don't fold into each other. That one side, literally in the middle of the ocean, one side will be one color and the other side will be another color, and they don't fold into each other. They don't melt. They're literally split apart. It's crazy. Well, who's doing that? It tells you in the scriptures who has bound the waters, man. Who had given the commandment to the water? It's who gives the waters its boundaries that it cannot overpass. That's why it tells you in the scriptures the things created by the Most High are witness to the Most High's creation. All right? So these things are far above our understanding. All right, it says, and by thy sword shalt thou live, comma. So there's a pause right there. By thy sword shalt thou live. And that's how Esau is living, is by the sword. Esau has the whole world hostage. Why? Because of nuclear missiles. Because that great sword that was given to him, man. Who on earth possesses that great sword? When Esau came over to conquer the Native Americans, what did they use to take out Gad, man? All right, they used what was called a Gatling gun. All right. So no matter how big of a force Gad could put together, Esau would come through with the Gatling gun and just mow everybody down. That's the great sword that was given to Esau. And that's why you Jakes, you try and put together a militia and end up shooting each other, man. That's a joke, man. All right, because an Edomite militia, they'll annihilate you guys, man. Y'all are stupid as hell. Y'all are stupid as hell, man. That sword is Esau's blessing. That sword that he got is guns, this technology, weaponry that he's got, man. All the way up to the nuclear missile, which the Lord is going to use. Really is the sword, is really Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's sword that he's going to use to destroy Esau with. His own weapon that was given to him. It says, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. So that's what this all goes back to. That's why he wants to destroy you Israelites, man, because of the blessing that he received. Because he didn't get the true blessing. All right. He basically rejected himself. So if everybody could be saved, what's this scripture about? Hebrews 12:16 says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Okay? So Esau found no place of repentance. Alright? In fact, this is Malachi 1:1, the burden of the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, yet you say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. And so right there in the scriptures, it clearly tells you that there is a nation of people on the earth that the Lord literally hates and rejected. Alright? Let's go get another. Obadiah, verse 15, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as you have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yet they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. And that drink that is talking about is slavery, right? Because all these different nations have what? Drunken of that holy mountain, meaning Israel, meaning that they have all benefited from the slavery of the Israelites. All right? And so because of that, it tells you in the scriptures, all the heathens shall drink continually and be as though they had never been. And so basically what that means is that they're going to go into slavery and they're going to be destroyed by it. It's going to break them down. All right? And it's going to be as though they never ruled upon the earth. It's going to be like they never had a dominion on the earth. It says, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken. So the Edomites, if you're of the nation of Esau, what you have to look forward to is to drink of the cup of slavery, and then the Israelites are going to completely destroy your nation. You know, the Lord is literally going to destroy Esau from off the face of the earth. That's what's written in the book. That's the judgment. There's no mercy for Esau, man. There's no mercy. The other nations are going to receive mercy. All right, they're going to, as it tells you in the scriptures, they're going to have to drink of that cup. Right? They're going to have to go into slavery. They're going to have to pay, that recompense. But at the end of the day, they're going to receive mercy as well. But, they're not going to receive it like Jacob. Israel is going to receive it. But they are going to have somewhat of a life given back to them. But Esau, Edom, is not promised any mercy. Esau, Edom, tells you he's going to be totally destroyed. Alright? So we know end time prophecy, these different things are coming to pass. We know that the mark of the beast when we go into Revelation 13 and 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Okay, and you see that coming on the horizon. Because the agenda that they're pushing, all right, is a satanic agenda. This type of, that type of madness is what America generates. And this is the type of stuff you gotta, Lord willing, he doesn't come over here. I don't want to deal with that. But that's, you know what I mean? That's part of making your life, your body a living sacrifice. You're putting your neck out there, you're putting your life on the line. He wants to keep on acting like he's gonna come over here, but Lord willing that, Yahweh Shai has that hedge. Keep his ass over there on that side. Revelation, as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So going back to that, because we're gonna have a time when the entire structure of America is gonna be completely broken down to the point where the dollar is gonna be worthless. Everybody's gonna basically lose their homes, lose their businesses, lose their livelihoods. All right, and it's gonna be chaos out here. And what's going to happen, Esau is going to declare martial law, and they're going to, anybody that doesn't want to get a vaccination, anybody that doesn't want to get RFID microchip, all right, they're going to either re-educate you, or they're gonna kill you, man. You know, one of the two. And re-education, they ain't gonna sit you down in the classroom and try and give you understanding. All right, they have instruments, they have tools for re-education. All right, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So this is something that's coming. When you look at like ID 2020, and it's something that they're already pushing in different poor countries like West Africa. They're pushing this test run where they're basically vaccinating people, and with the vaccinations, they say is going to be optional, but we'll see how it comes when they start really pushing it. To get a RFID microchip implanted in you with the vaccination, so that they can scan your chip and you can prove that you got vaccinated. All right. So let's read this. Revelation 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. All right. Now the mark of the beast can't be vaccinations, because if it's vaccinations, then all of us that were born, you know, I don't know, from the 90s on down, you're more than likely vaccinated. Your parents vaccinated, so that's not the mark of the beast. Otherwise, we'd all be free. But that microchip, because they already came out and said that it's going to be accompanied by a RFID microchip, so that they can scan that, and you can see that person actually has that microchip. So that's an end time prophecy. It's actually happening. You see it happening before your eyes. So are all these different uproars of the people. So is the trade war that's going on between China and America. You know. These things are all end time prophecies. And it said no man will be able to buy or sell save he that had the mark, right? And so you better bet that at some point in time, they're going to push these vaccinations out. And if you don't have proof of that vaccination, you're not going to be able to go to any stores. You're not going to be able to go to the store to buy anything. All right, you're not going to be able, because what do they want to do? Stage 4 or phase 4, whatever you want to call it, of reopening the country. They say is only going to happen when the vaccinations come, right? And so what phase 4 is the reopening of what? Bars, attractions like Disneyland, Six Flags, places like that, Disney World, nightclubs, so on and so forth. Places of mirth, places where where you used to party, you used to being able to go, to Camelot Land, play with the arcade, play the arcade game, shoot pool, play mini golf, all these different things. They say that these types of places were concerts, different things like that, NBA games, football games, things like that, which have masses of people. That phase of reopening can only happen when there's vaccinations. And you better believe you're not going to be able to take part of that. So a lot of people are going to get vaccinated just to be able to go to the club, just to be able to go to the bar, just to be able to, not even for simple things like going to the store, going to work. Hey, because you're not going to be able to go to work unless you have proof of the vaccination. That's coming, man. Okay? And that's going to extend to the microchip. Because the microchip is going to be a way for you to be able to produce the proof that you got vaccinated. They'd just be able to scan you. They'd just be able to scan you in. A lot of people are going to get the mark of the beast just so they can attend functions like that. Just so they can go back to whatever little normal life that they had. But it's never going to be the same again. It's never going to be the way that it was. And things are only going to continue to get worse. Because you have a dissension going on right now. And where they're pushing out, and basically they're doing everything they can to get to take the truth off of the streets. And they're filling up the people with that beast mentality that you have to accept trannies, homosexuals, all these different things. That it's not enough. That we already exist with you, but we have to accept it. We have to believe that it's okay. You can't speak out against it. And that's what they're pushing. Alright? So we know that that's an end time prophecy that's happening right now. So we know we're in the time of the end. Alright? Let's jump. You go to Matthew, the 24th chapter. And he says, Matthew 24:3, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? So the end of the world, in this sense, is actually the end of the age, because a new world order is going to be set up, but it's not going to be what a lot of people think. Esau is not going to be able to set up his new world order agenda, in which everybody's microchipped. We're all living in some kind of a virtual reality. Because ultimately, that's what he wants. That's what he's conditioning you people for. That's why you think, take a minute to think about this. More and more things are going digital and virtual. More and more they are urging you to stay indoors, to not even come out of your house for anything. They have why do you think they have all these delivery services set up? Because they want to normalize you to being socially distant from everybody. They want to normalize you to be isolated. Okay? So that your everything that you receive is completely from them. You don't get anything by your own self, all right? Everything that you receive is from them, and that's the way that they want it. They want the very air that you breathe to be their air, so they can tax you for it. They want to put a microchip in you, put all of your bank account information on this microchip, so that every transaction that you make, everything that you buy, they can tax you for it. Nothing goes under the table. They have a term, getting paid under the table, things going under the table. Nothing goes under the table in that RFID system. Nothing can go under the table. So they want, basically what the New World Order would be is them having complete control over your lives, even your thoughts, everything. The same way that is going on right now. The media pushes what you should think, what to believe, what's in, what's out. That's what they want to do. Ultimately, at the end of the day, is have complete and total control over you. So that basically, you taking the microchip and bowing down to the system is you accepting Esau, Edom, so-called white man, as your God. That's essentially what you're doing. You're accepting you're accepting the devil. You're accepting Satan as your God. All right, you're gonna follow after his ways and his, So this is Isaiah 14:12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And that's what you see going on. This guy's making 3D printed meat. What you eat think about, what you believe, what you do, it all has to be ordained by Him, because He wants to be like the Most High. All right, this all goes back to that blessing. All right, He's trying to take it by deception, and by force of the sword. You know, ordo ab chaos, order out of chaos. That's why He's pushing out all this confusion. You watch the media and it's fucking confusing. You don't know what the heck is going on most of the time, man. All right, you know that it's all prophecy. You understand what He's doing, but if you didn't understand what's really going on, you'll be totally lost. You'll be totally confused, man. All right, because He's pushing all this confusion to get everybody all angry and riled up. You know, because what happens, like, if you've ever been to a hospital or worked at a hospital or seen this firsthand, or maybe this has happened to you, you know, something happens, you end up getting taken to the hospital and they put drugs in you, you wake up and you're fucking confused. You don't know where you are, you don't know what's going on, so what happens a lot of times, they have to restrain you because you start trying to bite and scratch and punch people and kick people, because you're just like, who the fuck are y'all and where am I? You don't know what's going on, man. And so that's basically what's going on in the world right now. Is everybody's fucking confused. They don't know what to believe. They don't know what's going on. All right, and people that are confused are dangerous, man. And things are gonna start getting violent because of this confusion that's being pushed. All right. So it's Matthew 24 and 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, I am Hamashiach, I am anointed, okay, and shall deceive many. You have that going on, and that's gonna come harder and harder. That's gonna come more and more. You're gonna have more people popping up with crazy doctrines, you know, crazy perversions of the scriptures. More people. You're gonna see Israelites looking like armed militias. Get ready to see that. Actual people pushing the truth with a 12 tribes chart, reading the Bible with an assault rifle in their hand. Get ready for that, man. And this is all the workings of Esau, Edom, man. All right. It says, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And so that's going on all the time. You're hearing about wars and rumors of wars. Right? You know, Israel just bombed Syria. Is Israel going to go to war with Iran? Is Russia going to go to war? You know, is Russia going to step in to help Syria? Is China going to go to war with America? So on and so forth, man. And right now you see a trade war happening to a point between China and America that it's actually affecting their economies. It's actually putting strain and pressure upon each other, man. So they're literally at war right now economically. All right? You got to watch for these things that are going on. It says, be not troubled, these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. All right? For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And so when these things happen, all right, these nations are literally going to start rising against each other. And you're probably going to see it start in the Middle East, most likely. That's the place where it's going to, well, that is the place where it's going to start. All right, you might see war between Israel and Syria, an all-out war. And Iran get involved, you know. That's going to bring everybody, that's going to bring everyone into that war. So these nations are going to rise up against each other, man. All right, America's going to get involved. America's going to get destroyed. All right? For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. You got COVID-19. But more stuff is going to start coming out. All right? Worse things. Okay? You're going to see giant earthquakes, man. Hey, they're projecting that California is supposed to get an earthquake that's so bad that it could break California off. The San Andreas fault. They're saying that we're overdue for a super earthquake. Believe that's coming. All right, there's going to be tsunamis. There's going to be tidal waves. All right, hurricanes. What you've seen with New Orleans, that's nothing, man. You're going to see multiple of those hit. All right, there's going to be famines. All right, lack of food, lack of bread, on which people are, and you're going to have wars amongst cities, amongst states. People are going to be fighting with each other. People are going to be fighting with each other over food, over water, over resources. All right. It says, and they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And when it says they shall kill you, all right, it means you may be actually killed. You may be physically killed. But all of us are gonna have our characters killed. All of us are gonna be dead in the eyes of this world. They're gonna say all types of shit about us. They'll bring out all types of stuff about us. We're gonna be made to look like the most evil, more wicked than Esau. But that's the stuff that we're out here to proclaim to you, is that Esau, Edom is the wicked. They're gonna make us look like horrible people. But look, these people are responsible for all these different wars that's going on, for slavery, for all this oppression that's going on throughout the world, man. They're responsible for the destruction of the earth. They're responsible for dropping nuclear bombs, man. They're responsible for the polluted air, for the polluted water, for the goddamn nasty ass food that you're ingesting. The reason why all your family members are getting cancer, getting sick and dropping dead. They're the reason your children go missing. They're the reason you see little kids being bought and sold on fucking websites. All the shit that they were into back during the Greeks and the Roman time. When you go into the history, they were all into all that orgies and having sex with whatever the hell they wanted to have sex with, however they wanted to do it. All right, they were into all that stuff, worshiping all types of idols. Because that's what you see out here. All types of idol worship. These are the people that's ruling over the world right now. So we know that by the Bible, through the Bible, all these different things that's happening in the earth. We understand why it's happening. We understand who the devil is. We understand who Israel are, who Yahweh Shai is. We understand all these different things. Okay? As Job 9:24 says, the wicked, or the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, right? And it says, if not, where and who is it, right? Now, when we read with the blessing, when we go into Esau's blessing, it says that he would be, his dwelling place would be of the dew of heaven, he would receive the fatness of the earth, right? And then it says, when he shall get the dominion, he shall break the yoke from off of his neck, right? So we're in that time of his dominion. Right? And that's talking about Esau. Okay? So let's get understanding. We know we're in the end times. We've got understanding on all these different things. So we go to 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 7. It says, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows? Okay? As it tells you in the scriptures, the first world was made for many, but the world to come was only made for a few, right? So what's the parting asunder of those times? What's the end of one age and the beginning of the next? So real quick, let me go. 2 Peter 3:10. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away. So when it speaks about the heavens passing away, that's talking about the end of the first rulership. Alright, the end of the first age. Alright, because when you look at a different state, you look at somebody that's homeless, you say, man, that person's living in hell, basically. Right? And you look at some like Jacob Rothschild, you'd be like, man, that dude's in heaven. He has whatever the heck he wants. Alright? So the first when it says the heavens shall pass away, it's talking about this current rulership, right? And because what do the heavens control? The heavens, Yahweh Shah controls everything. And so the heavens, that's who's in rulership, that's who's in power right now, right? It says, the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are you to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Alright? So, because of these nuclear missiles that hit, the very earth is going to be on fire. The air is going to be on fire as well. Alright? Everything that's contained within it is going to be melted. Alright? It says, nevertheless, we according to his promise look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwells righteousness. So that's the new world order that's coming. Right? A new heaven and a new earth wherein dwells righteousness. So the end of the first and the beginning of that which is to come, right? Or of that which followeth. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. So, knowing all these different things that we just spoke about and proved in the Bible, alright? So from Jacob to Esau, that's the parting asunder of the time. So you had the flood. After the flood, you had the Tower of Babel. You had Nimrod. Nimrod was actually a ruler. All right, Nimrod was a king. He's the one that brought everybody together to build the Tower of Babel in the first place, right? So that was a rulership, and it got dismantled. And then after that, you had Egypt came into power. Egypt, that was a rulership, right? Then after that, you had Babylon, which came into power. Actually, you had Assyria, and then you had the Assyrians came into power. Then you had the Babylonians coming to power. Then you had the Medo-Persian Empire. Then you had the Greeks and the Romans. Now, when the Greeks came into power, that's when Esau first got that dominion. So Esau is the end of the world. From the time that the Greeks came into power was pretty much the beginning of the end. Really, when Jacob and Esau were born. And you could say, different things, but Esau got that dominion as the Greeks, and then the Romans. And then when the Romans went down, Israel came into power, and then Esau came back into power, right? And this is the Roman Empire reborn, all right? And I mean, there's a lot we could go into concerning that. I mean, we could spend all day talking about all this shit. All right, because the Greeks and the Romans came into power. That was a dominion of Esau, right? Revelation 13:1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast having 7 heads and 10 horns today is America, which is Rome, NATO, and the EU, NATO being the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is between America and, in the beginning, 10 European nations, which were crowned with America, right? So they had 10 crowns upon their heads because they're in rulership. They're partners with America. They're in rulership with America, which is basically the Roman Empire all over, but which is the Roman Empire all over, right? And it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Okay? And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, right? Because you had 7 heads, you had 10 horns, right? So the 7 heads represent 7 different Edomite powers that came in, that were ruling during the time of the Roman Empire. Okay, in which Great Britain was one of those heads. And when you look at Great Britain went around and basically colonized all these different lands and set up shop there. And then out of Britain, America was born, and America rose up above Britain. And that is what's talked about the 8th head, which came out of the 7th, because the 7th was Britain. So this is that 8th head that it talks about in the scriptures that came out of the 7th. So out of the mouth of the lion was born what? America, right? Which is Rome all over again. So, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, because ancient Rome got destroyed. They got a deadly wound. But then the Renaissance came about, and that deadly wound was healed because Rome basically came back into power. And they worshiped the dragon, but gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" So that's NATO and these different European countries that were ruling with America now. So this is the Roman Empire all over again, in which Esau is ruling the world right now. So this is the end of the world. So that's who is in power. All right, the ancient Romans, the ancient Greeks, which are known as Edomites in the Bible. That's who's in power today. That's who's ruling the world today. And that's why evils have been multiplied upon the earth. That's why wickedness is multiplied upon the earth. You know. And basically, we're in the time when Jacob is about to get the rulership. Because Yahweh Shai is going to come and destroy this rulership, all right, and set up the next. So this is Zephaniah 3:8. So it says, "Therefore wait you upon me." And so that's what we're doing. We're waiting for Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. That's why, all right, we're not here to form a militia now. All right, we're not here to fight with nobody. The only thing we're here to do is bear witness to these scriptures that they are true. To interpret these scriptures to show you that they are true, and that everything that's written in them is real. And that's what's happening. You know, what the scriptures say is happening is what's really happening. Alright? It says, "Therefore wait you upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy." And that's what's going on. The Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is getting ready to use World War III and these nuclear missiles to pour upon them that punishment, his indignation, his wrath, for all the wickedness that they've done upon the earth, and for joining themselves unto Esau and doing living deliciously with America. All right. It says, "For then will I turn to the people of pure language, and they may call upon the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai to serve him with one consent." That's what you see happening. Those are the people that are going to be saved from this destruction that's coming. And it's coming very soon. All the signs are here. Alright? So get ready to see more crazy things happen. If you're out there on the highways and byways, you're going to see more crazy things. These people are bugging out more and more every day. Esau's bugging out more and more every day. Alright? The quarantine, the other things stay shut down, you're going to start seeing people coming out on the streets. Alright? And everybody's looking for answers right now. So we're in that time. We're in that time of great deception, but also a great awakening, where a lot of people are going to understand the truth. In fact, matter of fact, this is Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince standing for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book of life. So the elect are going to be delivered from this time of great tribulation that's coming. Alright, which indeed is going to be a time of great tribulation. Famines, wars, pestilence, alright, earthquakes, floods, all types of stuff's going to be happening. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Alright? So many people that are in this state of confusion, alright, that are sleeping in the dust of the earth, are going to awake. Alright? Because the truth is being brought out. Some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. And that's basically what we're out here to do, is to turn you Israelites to righteousness now. Alright, to believe in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Alright, so Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem HaRakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, love, and blessing to the hopeful elect. Shalom until next time. We're going to be out here next week. Do this all over again until the kingdom come, man. Shalom.